It was a cold evening in Baton Rouge, the kind of night when the wind cuts through your coat and reminds you just how fragile comfort really is. Senator John Kennedy had just finished a long day of meetings and speeches, his mind crowded with policy debates and paperwork. But as his driver pulled up to a dimly lit grocery store parking lot, something caught his eye. A small, beat-up sedan with fogged windows, parked away from the others. He almost dismissed it, but then he noticed movement inside. A woman was sitting in the driver's seat, her head resting against the steering wheel as if the weight of the world was pressing down on her. Beside her, in the back seat, wrapped in a thin blanket, was a baby crying softly. John's chest tightened. He asked the driver to stop. The woman jumped when she saw him approach, fear flashing across her tired eyes. She cracked the window just enough to speak. "Please see broken bar. We're not bothering anyone. We'll leave soon." But John shook his head gently. "Ma'am," he said softly, "you don't have to be afraid. I just want to make sure you and your baby are all right." Her name was Sarah. She had lost her job 3 months earlier when the diner where she worked closed down. With no paycheck, the bills piled up. Then came the eviction notice. She had nowhere else to go, no family nearby, no friends who could take her in. Her car became her only shelter. "I try to keep him warm," she whispered, pulling the blanket tighter around her baby. "But nights like these, broken bar, I don't know if we'll make it." John stood there in silence for a moment, overwhelmed by the reality in front of him. He had spent years debating policies on the Senate floor, but here, in the quiet of a parking lot, was the human face of those struggles. A mother, a child, not statistics, but lives hanging on by a thread. He placed a hand on the window frame. "Sarah, you and your baby can't stay out here another night. Not like this." Tears welled in her eyes. "I don't want charity, sir. I just a broken bar. I just need a chance." John nodded. "Then let's start with tonight." Within an hour, he had arranged for a hotel room. He made sure Sarah had warm meals and clothes for her baby. But it didn't stop there. Over the next few days, he used his connections to get her into a local shelter that specialized in helping single mothers transition back into stable living. He called local businesses, asking if anyone would take a chance on a hardworking woman who just needed a fresh start. One Cafe Tilde copyright owner said yes, and within a week, Sarah had a job. John checked in on her often. Sometimes, it was a call to see how she was doing. Other times, he dropped by quietly to bring diapers or formula. Slowly, Sarah began to rebuild her life. Months later, on a sunny afternoon, John visited the shelter's community center. Sarah was there, sitting at a table with her baby, now healthier and smiling. She stood up when she saw him, tears in her eyes once again, but this time, they weren't tears of despair. "Senator Kennedy," she said, her voice trembling, "you didn't just save us. You reminded me that hope still exists in this world." John smiled gently. "No, ma'am. You did the hard part. You kept fighting. All I did was lend a hand." But those words traveled far beyond that shelter. When the story spread, it wasn't just about politics or charity. It was about humanity. It was about noticing the invisible, the forgotten, the ones living in the shadows. And in the end, Sarah's story became more than just her own. It became a reminder to everyone that compassion is not measured by speeches or titles, but by the moments we choose to act when no one is watching. Because sometimes, the greatest power isn't found in a position of authority but in a simple choice to care.